Hey guys, this is Shayan and today I'm gonna talk about one of the most important DP ideas called rerooting. We're gonna solve 219D choosing capital for Treeland to explain this idea. This problem states that assume that we have a tree and each of the edges are directed towards one of its endpoints, like this, and so on. And this tree represents like a country and each of the vertices are cities, and we want to choose a capital for this country. We want that the capital has a path to all the other vertices. If you make it the root of your tree, all of the directions should be downwards. In other words, which of the cities we should choose as capital so that we can minimize the number of edges that we can change their direction. First of all, think about an O of n squared solution. Pause the video and think about it. Well, for O of n squared solution, we can just iterate over all the vertices as a root and run a DFS from those vertices and just count the number of edges which are upwards. If we do that, we can find out that, okay, if this vertex is the capital, how many of these edges we should change their direction. For example, in this case, there is going to be 3 edges that we should change their direction. So simply with n DFSs, we can just find out what is the answer and report all the vertices which give us the minimum number of edges that should be reversed. Now the question is that how can we improve this solution? How can we improve it from O of n squared to O of n, for example? Well, this is when we will use this rerooting idea. But the general idea in here is that we just find the answer for one vertex. Only for an arbitrary vertex. For example, for vertex 1, we will find what is the answer, how many edges there are that we should change their direction. And we call that dp of 1. Okay, so this is the dp of 1, which is the number of edges which are upward if we root the tree at vertex 1. And by rerooting, we mean that we will change the roots to any vertex v when we reach v. So the whole idea is that we keep changing the root of our tree, and instead of running a DFS again from that new root, using the other answers, we will find out how the tree looks like if the root was that vertex. So the whole idea is that after we calculated it for vertex 1 with one DFS, we will start a second DFS from our roots. And whenever we reached a vertex, like vertex v, but before vertex v, we were in the parent of vertex v. Let's name that vertex p. And so we know what is dp of p. We assume that we already know what is the dp of p, what is the answer for vertex p. Now we want to calculate dp of v using dp of p. The whole thing I say is that dp of v is very similar to dp of p. There is only one edge that its direction should change, and that is only this edge between p and v. The whole idea is that whether our root is vertex p or it is vertex v, only this specific edge should change. So all the other edges which are in here or in here, they all remain the same. So it doesn't matter for those edges whether our root is p or our root is v. They have the similar situation in both cases. The only edge that changed is this specific edge. So the whole idea is that we can simply say if this edge was upward, then when we were in P, we had to change the direction. But for vertex V, we don't have to change its direction. So the answer is better in vertex V. So dp of V is going to be dp of P minus 1 in that case, if this edge was directed upwards. Because for P we had to change this and we have calculated this edge for P, but for V we don't need to calculate this edge. And if this edge was downwards, then for P we did not calculate this edge, but for V we have to calculate this edge. So we should increase dp of P by 1. So as I said, there's going to be 2 cases. In one case, dp of v is dp of p minus 1. In the other case, dp of v is dp of p plus 1. So that's the whole thing. We just calculated for the root and we start another DFS. And when we have the result of vertex 1, when we know the dp of vertex 1, we can calculate the dp of all its children. So when we have this one, we can calculate all this. And from them again, we can calculate the result of their own children. So we will start from up and we will go downwards and we will calculate the dp's of all the vertices, and at the end we find out what is the minimum value for dp's, and we will report that as our answer and see out all the possible vertices with that specific value. That's all about the idea and the solution. So now let's get into implementation. Okay, so we know that n is up to 2 times 10 to the power of 5, so we should first define n as 2 5 plus 20, and we should input the 3 alongside the direction. So I keep it as a PII so that I know that what is the direction for each specific edge. So first I scene N, and then I have 4. I define U and V, scene U and V, U minus minus, V minus minus. This is because I want it to be 0 based, not 1 based. And in G of U, I push back pair of V and 0, which means that the direction is correct. In G of V, I push back U and 1. It means that V to U is in the wrong direction. So we have to change the direction of this edge if we want to go from V to U. Then I just run the DFS1 from vertex 0, and DFS1 works like this. First I define the DP, and we have DFS1 int V int of pair equal to -1. So inside the DFS I should have a 4, which is PII this time, PII of P on G of V, and I have to say that int of U is equal to P dot first, I show it with P dot F, and W is P dot S. So it's like the weight of this edge, which is 0 or 1. And I say that dp of 0 plus equal to W. This time it is dp of 0 because now I'm working in 0-based indexing. And I should just sum up all the values when I go downward. And then DFS of U and V. So simply we have dp of 0 now. And also I have to say in here that if U was equal to pair, continue, so that we don't go to our parents again. Then I have to have another DFS, DFS2. In here I just say that's void of DFS2. I know the DP of the vertex I'm already in, and now from this vertex I want to find out the DP of its children. So I know DP of V, I want to find DP of U for each U child of V. Again, I have a 4 PII of P on G of V, int of U equal to P dot F, W equal to P dot S. If U was equal to pair, again, continue. And here I have to say DFS1 of U and V. And then I have to say that dp of U is going to be equal to dp of V. If this direction was downward, I didn't have to change it, but I have to change it for V. So if it is 0, I have to say that I have to add 1. But if W was 1, I don't have to change this direction for U. But for V, I was changing this direction, so I should decrease it. And then I just need to have a DFS2 on U and V as its parents. So this is everything that we had to do. And then at the end, I just need to have a vector int of vec. I can simply say that for int of I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. If vec.empty or dp of I was less than dp of vec of 0, then we found a better answer. So we should say vec.clear, vec.pushback I. Else, if dp of I was equal to dp of vec of 0, then vec.pushback I again. Then cout dp, and for int of x on vec, cout x plus 1 and cout ny. So let's test it. Guys, in between of the video, I want to say a small thing to you. I'm making this video in order to help everybody who are learning CP. I want them to learn it for free, and I want this to be accessible to everyone. So if you know anyone who might get benefit from these videos, please share these videos with them. This way I can be sure that all my efforts are not for nothing and many people are getting benefits from the videos I'm making. And this really motivates me to continue what I'm doing. Well, for the first test, it's giving us 0 and 2, which is correct. For the second one, it's giving us 2, 1, 2, 3. This is again correct. Okay, so now let's submit it. Let's see what happens. Accepted. That was all about DP rerooting. See you in the next video. Giant.